Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. In today's video, we are going to learn about expressions in Python and a few useful functions. So let's get started with this. So um, the first thing that we need to understand for expressions is, let's say I say x is 2 plus 2, right? And then I want to print this, right? So I say print. Now, when I run this, as we saw in the earlier videos, when I run this, what's going to happen is it's going to print 4, right? So let's try to understand this better, and this will help us to improve our understanding of Python. So when we do 2 plus 2, all right, this is an expression. So any mathematical calculation that we do is basically an expression, right? So I could also write minus 3 over here, okay, and this is also an expression, right? So I get the answer, which is 1, right? So the result from this expression goes into x, and then we're using the print function, okay, to print x, right? So this is what we saw in the earlier videos also. So now, when you try to understand expressions, there is a lot of details in expressions also, but uh, to start off, what you need to understand is with expressions, you can change the order of expressions. So for example, if I want to put a parenthesis, all right, and I do this, okay. So you see the answer changed over here and I got the output as 1. So the reason I got this is because uh, 2 minus 3 is minus 1 and then plus 2. So the order changes, right? Or I could change this to into, all right? And then let's see what happens. Okay. Uh, I got the answer 8. Okay. Now, if I put this in brackets, okay, or parentheses, the right word is parentheses. If I put this in parentheses, uh, what do you think is the answer? So I would get 2 plus 2, 4, and then 4 into 3, which is 12. Okay, so let's see. Correct. So this is called precedence in Python. So what precedence means is in school, you must have learned BODMAS. So we used to follow BODMAS. I have it over here, BODMAS, right? And BODMAS is what you learned in school. If you don't remember or you didn't learn it in school, it's fine. It's just something like we had a order of how would an expression get evaluated. So you have brackets, which is parentheses. Then you have division, multiplication, all of that stuff. So now in Python, you don't have BODMAS. So let's just forget this line. Okay. So you don't have BODMAS in Python. You just have this PEMDAS, right? And PEMDAS basically stands for parenthesis. So whatever is in parenthesis is this sign, okay, will be evaluated first. Okay. After that, you have exponentiation, which is basically this. And then you have multiplication, which we just saw, which is this. And then you have division, addition, and subtraction. So that's the order that Python will follow when evaluating your expression. There is a few more details in expressions also, or the order of precedence. But for now, this is good enough, and we will just focus on this. So with this understanding, I think we are in a decent position to understand uh, how an expression gets evaluated. So based on this, I can write my expression, right? So when you do this, this is basically the multiplication signs, right? So 2 into 3 is 6, correct? Now, 2 exponentiation 3 or 2 raised to the power of 3 is basically what it's doing is 2 into 2 into 2. So when it does this, 2 into 2 is 4, 4 into 2 is 8. So when you use this, it basically tells you the answer is 8, right? So for this video, or just to begin, you just need to know expressions, which we are already doing. You just write some calculation. and then you just need to remember the order if you need to manipulate the precedence and how it gets calculated, right? So that's the only thing that you need to remember. Another thing to remember in expressions is that you can't use string, right? So I can't write like this. This is wrong. So when I add any stuff, I need to make sure the data types of what I'm adding is compatible. So this is a string. So you can't add a string with a integer, right? So let's see. See? So it's giving me an error that int and string cannot be added, right? So Python knows this is an integer. It knows this is a string. So you can't add a string with a number. But in general, I think it's pretty common sense. You will just add numbers with numbers. So again, this isn't something very difficult. You can add float, which we learned in the other previous video. You can add a float with an int, so that should not be a problem. So you see, we get the answer 4.2. In general, whatever calculations you want to do, that should be fine. You won't have any problems. Another interesting thing with Python is, you could write some string, okay, like let's say cloud with Farouk, okay, and then you could write into 5, okay. So what it is doing right now is it is printing this 5 times. So if you count this, it's cloud with Farouk 2 times, cloud with Farouk 3, or let me just change this. Let me just put A. Okay, let me put A, and let me do this, right? So now it printed this 5 times because I told this into 5. So there are useful tricks that you could understand and do, but that will come with time. Once you keep doing, you understand and start looking at code and you see what people are doing. These things will come, but these are the basic ones which are useful. Another thing that you want to uh, look at is you can do addition of a string. So you can do addition of a string, which is called concatenation. And if I do this, this is fine because both are string, right? So what Python is going to do, just join both of them. So if you see this, Python is the best, right? And if I want a space here, I can just put a space here and this should be fine. So it prints Python is the best, right? So one thing that we learned is expressions, and parenthesis is the main. And then you have to remember the data types. Only a number with a number, a string with a string. Number can go with a float or any other numerical data type. That should be fine. Okay. Now, so I think we covered these three. This should be good. All right. And now you also want to know some useful functions. For example, length. Length is a useful function in Python and it's used a lot. So when I say length, in the same way like we learned print, okay? So you have length. And what length does is it takes the information and it will give you the count of the uh, alphabets or the numbers, right? So let's see. Uh, 18. So how did it get this number 18? So it got this number from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, right? So we can check this. So let's say I just put A 3 times. Okay. So what it's doing is it's giving me 3. So there are a lot of useful functions in Python like this, which we will learn in the coming videos. But for now, length is one of the most useful functions that we can use in many places. So I just wanted you to be aware of this. And there will be some other functions which I show you in the future also. Now, uh, let's say that this is a string, but sometimes you don't know what is the input that's coming, right? So what you can do is you can basically check the data type. Okay, so if you put type and you print this, okay, you print the value of x, what it will do is give you what is the data type, right? So over here the data type is string because we know this, it's very simple. But sometimes you might want to look at the data type. If you're getting it from somewhere or you're reading a file or something like that, you want to understand what is the data type, right? So you could do this. Now, if I change this to 3 and let's see, it becomes int, right? So this is a very useful function as well, type, that you can, keep for reference. And yeah, and one more thing in Python, even though these numbers look the same, okay, even though these numbers look the same, they are not the same because this is a integer and this is a string because it's in quotes. So if you print this, it will give you false, right? But if it were the same thing, it gives you true. And in Python, when you work on Python, when you put 1 equal to, it's used for assignment. So this is called assignment. So you're assigning the value 3 to x, right? And this is the symbol, or the 2 equal to signs is basically checking if the left side is equal to the right side. And we will learn this in more detail in the coming video. But this video was just to give you a familiarity on expressions and how we use expressions and what is the sequence of expressions, plus a few useful functions that might be helpful as we go further in the tutorials, right? I hope you like this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you.